Hey, it's your boy Icon, and we're gonna quickly go over the WWE Backlash pay-per-view live from France. Vive la France! And it was a very interesting show. It was only about five matches, so we're in like old school NXT territory. And I originally wasn't gonna do a review on this because it's a Backlash pay-per-view, so the majority of the card was pretty much like, predictable. It's not like anything that happened was a surprise. But at the same time, I actually did enjoy the show. And I did think it was a good show. But I will say this, like at the end of the show, I saw the press conference, like the post-game press conference, and Triple H said that, WWE was trying to go global. They're trying to take, their business all over the world. And then he said, who gets to have a WWE premium live event? He's like, anybody that that wants it, anybody that's loud, like the biggest and the loudest voices, the biggest and the loudest crowds, like whoever deserves it most. And I feel like that was his way of saying that they're done doing shows in the United States, because like if we're being honest, like the US crowds kind of suck a lot of times. Like they're dead, they're quiet, they don't react to anything. And then when you go overseas, these people are reacting just over the fact that like the hot dog man came downstairs. So it does make for a better presentation, so I can kind of see why. And they even said like this year, I believe this year they're doing, because they do what, 12 pay-per-views a year, and I believe 6 of them are taking place overseas this year. And they did say that in 2025 they're trying to get to a point where the only PLEs that they're going to do is basically going to be the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and Money in the Bank. And then God forbid, Money in the Bank is actually going to be in Canada this year, but if this trend of United States crowds being very poor, if this trend continues, then yeah, definitely WWE's at some point it's just going to become like a global thing, and we're all going to have to catch it on TV at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But let's quickly go into this Backlash pay-per-view. So there was no pre-show match, which was sad. Big E and Charles Montgomery Punk were on commentary, which was nice to see. It's nice that they're still keeping them around. And the very first match that kicked off the event was the Bloodline versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Before the match even started, the entire arena started singing Randy's theme song. And they sung the entire theme song from start to finish. And this was a trend throughout the entire pay-per-view. But I will say this though, like the thing with the France crowd, there were moments where their chants were getting annoying. There were moments where their chants were cool and like added to the match. But like overall, like it's a good thing more so than a bad thing. But when they were like singing people's theme songs and everything, they were off key like hell. Like even during the women's match, when Naomi was doing the fist pump, they were off with the fist pump. Like they were off with the Randy Orton theme song. They were off with Cody's song. But God bless them. At least they brought the energy and still made for a good show. And this match pretty much ended like the way you thought. RKO out of nowhere on top of the table. In the end, when Kevin Owens and Randy Orton were trying to get the W, a new member of the Bloodline showed up, which was Tama Tonga's brother. No, was it Tama or Sanga? Yeah, it was his brother. So it wasn't. I don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna be like 100% serious. I don't even know if that was Jacob Fatu or not. We did hear the rumors that Jacob Fatu did sign with WWE, but I don't know if that was him because I don't know what this guy looks like. But they said that, Tonga, the MFD, or the MFT, they said that was his brother. So, of course, in order to, continue the storyline, the Bloodline ended up getting the victory with the new member added to the Bloodline. So now Solo has 2 people. Paul Heyman looked like he was about to see a ghost. And then there was a segment in the back where main event Jey Uso was warming up for his world title match, and then he saw like his brother and he saw the new members of the Bloodline, and then Paul Heyman looked at him and he was like, please help me. Like they've kidnapped me. So like I said, it was this whole thing basically just happened to further the feud between both parties, so there's nothing wrong with that. And like I said, the Bloodline is going to continue to grow until Roman comes back and Jimmy comes back and we see what happens, which will basically be Bloodline 2.0 versus the original. So let's look forward to that and just see how it goes. I just wish they'd stop pinning Kevin Owens in all these matches. And then after that was the WWE Women's Championship match, Bayley versus Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton. And I need to say this because I'm not a fan of Tiffany Stratton. But it's not because she's a bad wrestler. Like Tiffany Stratton, she's a good talent. they said that she trained for the Olympics and she has an Olympic background and she has like a gymnastics background. Okay, fine. So does Kalani Jordan, and Kalani Jordan looks a hell of a lot better than Tiffany Stratton. The difference is Tiffany like Kalani Jordan is natural. Tiffany does not look. Even if Tiffany is natural, she doesn't look natural. Everything about her is fake. And then she has that daddy's girl, like, oh, I'm rich, so I can do whatever I want, spoiled brat giving. Like, I hate everything about her. I just really do. The one positive thing that I will say about Tiffany Stratton is that she actually plays the spoiled brat gimmick to a T. And she does a good job of it because she makes me hate her. She really, and then even in France, she's just like, eh. And then the whole Tiffy time thing, she stole that from Damian Lillard because it's Dame time, it's not Tiffy time. But then she was just like, oh, like all over the world, everybody likes Tiffany time, everybody likes Tiffany Stratton. Okay, you're overseas in Europe. Between you, Naomi, and Bayley, which one of the three do you think a European crowd will favor more so than the other two? But I digress. Thank God that she didn't win the championship. It actually, it was Naomi that actually took the pin in this match because she tried to roll up Bayley, and then Bayley countered it into a roll up of her own. So Bayley ended up taking the pinfall. But with that being said, Bayley basically, she was supposed to get a SmackDown title match anyway. She was never supposed to have a pay-per-view match. So the fact that she ended up getting a pay-per-view match out of the deal was perfectly fine. We all knew Bayley wasn't going to lose because this was going to be her first challenger after winning the belt. And, having Naomi on that grand stage, that was worth it just to have Tiffany in the mix. And it was also cool, like I said, when Naomi came out, the crowd was behind her, they were chanting along with her. And it's like, Naomi's a star. Like, she's a bona fide star. She's a veteran. She's a star. And she deserves to be in the upper echelon. And she deserves to be showcased more. And I'm just glad that she was able to get that opportunity here in this particular match. Like I said, I'm not mad that she took the pin because she wasn't going to win the belt anyway. So it is what it is. And then it's like now going forward, they can continue the feud with Bayley versus Tiffany. And, it's nice to have that feud early and get out the way because we know Tiffany ain't going to win either. So kudos to Bayley. Afterwards, Naomi actually gave Bayley a hug and raised her hand to the audience. So good sportsmanship there. And we'll see what happens on Sunday, which will probably be a match that they set up between Bayley and Tiffany Stratton. Next up was main event Jey Uso versus Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. And the entire arena yeeted along with Jey Uso, which was a very nice visual, despite the fact that Damian Priest said 50 million times, don't help me, I don't need help, I don't need help. The Judgment Day came out and helped him anyway, and as much as he was like, yo, don't help me, don't help me, don't help me, he damn sure took the help, and he retained the World Heavyweight Championship. But again, predictable finish because we knew he wasn't going to lose. After that was the Women's Tag Team Championship match, which was the only match that I was actually really looking forward to because it was the only match that was going to guarantee a title change. So Jade Cargill versus the Kabuki Warriors, a.k.a. Damage Control, and Bianca Belair. And earlier in the show, they did an interview with Bianca where she kind of went batshit insane, where she was just like, yo, I'm done with the Damage Control thing. She's like, I don't want to look at them no more. She's like, I don't want to talk about them. I'm sick of talking about them. And my whole thing is, if you're sick about talking about Damage Control, if you don't want any questions asked about Damage Control, if you try to talk about Damage Control, why are you in a tag team match versus Damage Control? Obviously, people are going to ask you about Damage Control, but I see her point because she has been feuding with them for 2 years, and the match was a good match, but there were moments that were a little rocky. And, it wasn't anybody's fault. There was one moment Kairi Sane ended up kicking Jade in the ass because I guess she was supposed to turn around and she didn't turn around. But the only real botch, if we're even going to use the word botch, the only thing that really happened was there was a moment in the match where Jade was doing everything that she was supposed to do perfectly fine. And there was a mix-up between who is the legal person versus Kairi and Asuka. And when Jade tried to go for a pin, when Kairi tried to go for a pin, the referee was telling her, hey, you're not the legal person. You're not the legal person. And I think because that sequence was supposed to happen with her being the legal person, everybody got a little confused, but they were able to get it back. They were able to reformat it, get the train back on the tracks, and then the match was good. It was a fine match. There was nothing wrong with it. Bianca obviously took the brunt of like all the physical abuse because like she's the WWE veteran in the case. And then Jade, like, she wowed everybody in the end because she pulled off a move where Kyrie tried to go for like a Hurricanrana or something. Jade not only caught her, she like lifted her up in the air, turned her around, threw her up in the sky, and then caught her and hit her with the Jaden. And I was like, that was hard. That was very hard to do. So once that happened, like, the crowd completely lost it. And then obviously, 1, 2, 3, and the sisters is they're the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, which makes sense now because Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, who are now a heel team, and also Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, like, they're on SmackDown now. So these two teams basically have been brought to SmackDown because they're going to be the two teams that feud with Jade and Bianca. I mean, we can always go to Raw and come back to, like, the unholy, I was about to call them the Unholy Empire, the Unholy Union, and we can come back to the Kabuki Warriors. But, kudos to Bianca Belair and Jay Cargill. Like I said, I'm looking forward to see their tag team title reign. I hope they go down to NXT and they wrestle Metaphor like Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Like, I definitely do want to see that match. Please go down to NXT like, and have that match. And I look forward to seeing the two of them reign supreme over the women's tag team division until one of them decides to turn on the other, and then we get the Jade versus Bianca feud, which is the thing that everybody wants. And Jade even brought that up because she said that it's funny in the post show. She said it was funny because she said that when the two of us came together, she said everybody wanted to see us, go at it, but she's like, it's been the opposite. So we'll see who their first challengers are this Friday on SmackDown when the new rosters completely go into effect. And finally, it was Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. You don't want none. They don't want none. I hate his new theme music, but it was a good match. And there was a moment where Cody was like holding his shoulder throughout the entire match, and I almost thought, is this a residual injury from Carmelo Hayes' situation where him and Carmelo Hayes went for those springboards? Jade did a springboard off the top rope, and I'm like, for a woman that tall, it looks insane. So now her springboarding is going to be a thing going forward, and we're all here for it. But Cody Rhodes, Cody Cutter off the top. He hit a Cody Cutter on AJ Styles off the top rope that blew my mind, and I thought he killed AJ Styles. And then he hit him with the crossroads, and he got the 1, 2, 3. We knew Cody was going to retain the championship, but it was still a good pay-per-view. The Street Profits did not capture the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on SmackDown. Well, I mean, the WWE Tag Team Championships, they didn't capture those. But like I said, but it was still a good show. Like, kudos to everybody involved. They said WrestleMania is going to be in Las Vegas next year. I'm not going to that, but I said, definitely a good show. And then the next show we have is the King and the Queen of the Ring coming up in Saudi Arabia. So that was it. It was a good show. Like, I mean, overall, I would give the show, out of 100, I would give the show 75%, like a 75 out of 100. But that's mostly because of like the predictable finishes. But that didn't make it a bad show because I still enjoyed the matches. I still enjoyed, like the athleticism, from all the competitors. But I'm looking forward to the draft. I'm looking forward to the draft changes, and I'm looking forward to see how everything shapes out as we move forward. So check out WWE Backlash on the Peacock app. Thank you for tuning in as always, guys. Like and or subscribe. Until next time, as we review. So maybe I'll do some more wrestling because I don't work on Sundays. Wrestling comes on Saturdays now, so I actually have time and opportunity to do these reviews, if I choose to do it. We'll see how it goes. Like, if people watch it, if the numbers are good, if I get decent feedback, then maybe I'll continue to keep doing some of these wrestling reviews for everybody that wants to see it. So until next time, guys, check out my other reviews on my channel because we got X-Men 1997 reviews coming up. We got My Adventure Superman and Lois coming up, and all that good stuff in between when we go into convention season. So until next time, guys, take care for the Backlash, and we're out this